design collaboration for Civil 3D is not going to be part of that free trial, unfortunately. But if you're interested in it, I did do a webinar just recently on how it operates on a case-by-case basis. It's pretty straightforward, and it does work really well. The other thing I do have to add is Autodesk is adding functionality to BIM 360 docs on a constant basis. So there's little things that pop up that that we see today or we saw last month that they've changed this month. So it only benefits. There's nothing that's been taken away. It's usually an enhancement or a way to add extra abilities to the project and to the way the program works. So that keeps coming. More and more functionality is coming down the road each and every time. So it's very active. That's about it. That's what I have.
All right. So
okay. So there is a review process when you're in the docs. If you notice, there's a section here for reviews. So what I have to do is go to the folders and submit a document for review. So let's say I have this published PDF. Actually, there's a set of plans that I'm going to publish here. I'm going to upload particular files to my plans. Let me upload files. The one I'm going to upload is one I've used in the past for a presentation on this. But it probably would not hurt for, let's see, is that it? No. 1 second, design collaboration sheet set 1, I believe that's it. So I'm going to load that. So when you're uploading PDFs to the plan section, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to go through and create a template to scan the sheets for numbers and everything like that. These are PDFs I'm loading, so it's uploading this PDF set. Right now it says I don't have a template for this PDF, but I can assign this to a set. I could say, hey, this is a new set. We'll call this 30%. Issuance date is today, and continue. So now I've made a new set of these. I can add additional files. I don't have a template made, so I'm going to go ahead and say continue. So if I had a template already made, it would go through and try to extract the PDF, sheet numbers, title block names, everything then, and rename everything in the set. So they're trying to locate information based on a layout template. If I haven't made a template, which I hadn't made, it's going to help me to make one. So this is my template. So right now I've got these undefined sheets. I'm going to go here and define a layout. It's going to open up one of these sheets. So I'm just going to crop an area. Maybe I'll crop this area right here and say, okay, this is where we're going to look. And use the crop tool. So I'm going to go do the image crop right here and say, look in this area, and say next. It says wherever the title block information is. So I'm going to enter a name, the file number, sheet number. It's going to look in this area right here. The title, it's going to look in this area right here. And the name, I'll just call this title block, civil title block, civil title. Okay, well, there's empty or no text, that's fine. And I'll save this. So it's going to save this as the template. And now it's going to extract that data. So I have 3 sheet sets in here. It's going to come through my PDFs, and it's going to extract those. And it's similar to what you would do for Bluebeam when you're making a set of PDFs in Bluebeam, where you wanted to auto extract that information so it titles those PDFs and everything. So in this case, it's going through and it'll extract that information, and then in one fell swoop it'll publish that. So then it's go ahead and published it. It's pulled out those sheet numbers automatically. We're all set. I'm going to go ahead and publish those all. So now I have gotten a message that everything was saved. So it is now publishing those. I can now hit that little arrow and close those. So very shortly, those 3 PDFs will publish into this list here. I also get emails every time I do that to say, hey, my documents are reviewed and published. It's going to be added to this set called 30%. It's extracted one piece of information from those. Okay. You see the sheets are published. There's the name. If their title block is filled out, that title will be filled in there. It's part of this 30% set, version 1. Now I can go ahead and submit these for review if I wanted to. Okay, so I can select these right here. And where's that review? So right here is that icon for submit for review. This time I'll go ahead and submit those. So I don't have a workflow, so I'm going to create a new workflow. So the design review, if I want to send this to like John or Steve, if I want to send this to you to have you review these, I would create a new workflow. Okay, so I'll create an approval workflow. I don't have, so I can make it a one-step a template or a two-step template. So let's say I want a two-step approval. Okay, next. I'll call this a two-step review, but give it a description on here. The initiator will be me because I am submitting the review. The initial review will be a single reviewer, and I'll say, okay, Steve is going to be the initial reviewer on this, and I'll save. The secondary reviewer on this will be John, save. You have so many calendar, I can say, hey, you have 1, 2, or 3 calendar days to review. I can really push you on this and say 2, and then John, you have 2 as well.
You're very generous.
I know. You like that? And then you can give approve, rejected, or approve with comments, and you can change the flag, colors of what you want here. You can also copy approved. So I can make a secondary folder here back in final project data files or something like that, and say once they're approved, also copy them back to here. I can make an approval folder, or I can allow the initiator to change the copy location. Okay. Once that's done and saved, I can say, okay, these are going to be to two-step review. And I've saved that. Okay. So that should have been it. That's active. Let's go back here to my document management. I got to resubmit those because I never submitted those initially. So I'll highlight these 3 items again, submit them for review. I'll choose that new 2-step review workflow. Action completed. Everything's set. Notes. I don't have any notes to add. Cannot use selected folder. Okay, well, let's choose it. I'll just put them back here in plans. I guess I have to make another subfolder under here.
Yeah.
Final review. There we go. Submit for review. 2-step. I'll change it to plans, final review. Submit. Okay, so now I've submitted as review. So Steve would get a notification. I can copy John and whoever else and say files submitted for review. Please check. Send. So you would get that message in an email too. So at that time, we could tell that they're off for review. At any time, once that review process will get done, those projects, those final reviews will get back put in here. So that's also a functionality of the software as well. I can come here to the reviews tab at every time. I can see that the status is currently open, and I can see who's initiated it and where our current review status is. So that email notification has been sent, and that's where the progress has been made. So I can keep track of the review process as I go along here. Okay, so the initial review has been done. So that I can say release the task.
Yep.
And now that will go and
I like how you
can
can
skip
add
that.
additional members in there.
And then it goes to John, right?
Right.
Okay. So, okay, let's see if we get that in here. Revit. So was that just it? It was just a...
Yeah, it went corrupt on me, and so I just fixed it and resynced it, and everything was fine.
I'll change a column location. 49. There we go. Can't. Oh, until you resaves the elements essential and relinquishes it, and you reload later. Place request.
But here, okay. So now,
No, that's okay. We get the idea.
it's done. It's done, Mark.
Oh, is it?
Right, because every time you do something that's tied between work sharing with this workflow, it allows you to interact with each other. So on my end, when Mark said, hey, I want to request to change this, on my end, it actually comes up and says, do you grant access? Do you want to deny it? Do you want to, basically ask why? So when I hit grant, that automatically gave you permission to do that.
All right, but any changes I made, I would go ahead and I would come back here to collaborate and I would synchrocentral, right?
Yes.
And so then it uploads and this becomes version whatever is the next version with my changes in it.
Everybody just see Mark's doing some civil stuff here. This is all still integrated into the BIM 360 project as well. So as you can see those shortcuts that he's working with there. And
right, I mean, I can, so just a brief, because I know that with the civil end, and I know WisDOT's still on 2018. So this is 2020 only at this time, or 2021, or starting with 2020. But basically my, the ability to save particular drawings, so I can say save as, and I can throw this up onto so I'm using the BIM 360 desktop connector. So there's my project files, there's my civil 3D drawings. I'll save this there. And I will also save this one up there. Might as well. Files, save as, and save this in the same location. This PC, I need to make myself a little shortcut for this location here. Project, so 3D. So there's that surface drawing there. So once those are located up there, I got some XREFs in here I can't find. There's an XML file that's missing. So then I could say, I can make my working folder on that BIM 360 site as well for my data shortcuts. So I come here, project files, civil 3D drawing, data shortcuts. I'll make that my working folder. I'll create a new project on there. Call it B360 test.
your other T.
Yeah, right. And then from there now I can say create data shortcut of my EG surface. So then even though that's up on BIM 360 now, I can now go ahead and create that reference. And because everything is done basically on the desktop connector. And as everything is done and I save these objects back up here on BIM 360, if I go back to BIM 360 design or docs, you can see those locks files. So these are locked as you get more and more drawings up here, and even XREFs and things, when somebody is in them, so this is how the design collaboration for civil works. Let's say you and I were sharing the same design project, which we are. If you tried to open either of these drawings from Civil 3D, you would get them as read-only because I'm in them. So it's still only one person can work on a drawing at a time. It's just that we're hosting the drawings to the cloud now instead of on a file server. And the BIM 360 docs management handles that write protection on them. So as soon as they come down to you, your computer says, nope, this is read-only no matter what you do. And even if you tried to save it 20 times up here, until I exit the drawing, this lock doesn't go away. And you can see the same thing back here in Civil 3D. When I go to my Start tab, I can see which drawings I have open. If somebody else had them open from this view up on the BIM 360 cloud, it would say, oh, these are locked. These are already opened by edit for me. So I can see it from this view as well, which drawing somebody else is in. And I can hover over it and say, hey, somebody else is in this drawing. I need to get in this drawing. Can you get out of it, please? Kind of like it works now on a local file server.
Yeah.
Right.
It really does work really well. The only thing that we have issues with are sheet sets. Sheet set still doesn't like that BIM 360 desktop connector as a file location, but Autodesk is working on that.
So I understand projects are going at the same time and still trying to transition, but hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight to either what additional things you could use or do, and then but if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We're able to help you out. So,
all right, appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for helping out, Mark, and we'll go ahead and close this session out for the day then.
All right. Thank you, everybody.